Good evening, you're watching Estuary News, I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, a Hull dentist goes on trial in the case of his missing wife, positive feedback for the future of Scunthorpe Market, and encouraging students to become organ donors. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Heather Davis on the 4th anniversary of KDAR for kids, but before that, Chris Lake on the Hull Ladies Choir charity concert. The trial of the husband of a missing Hull woman has begun today. 48-year-old Majid Mustafa appeared at Doncaster Crown Court accused of intentionally encouraging another man to obtain a noxious substance that could be used on his wife, Renata Anchak. The court heard how the dentist wanted to get hold of a date rape type drug to find out if his wife was having an affair. They also heard how he went to great lengths to track Renata's whereabouts, including installing spy cameras in his wife's car, software on her computer and monitoring her phone calls. Mr. Mustafa denies the charge and the trial continues. 94% of traders say they're positive about the plans for a new indoor market at the former BHS store in Scunthorpe. Traders have been giving their views during a series of consultations with North Lincolnshire Council over the last 2 weeks. The new location for the market forms part of the council's £60 million plans to regenerate the area. It says the old market would cost too much to revamp and the BHS site is in a prime position. Traders who attended the workshops say the new location will attract more customers and put the market back at the heart of the community. West Lindsey District Council has decided not to retain the Bowls Hall in Gainsborough. A petition with 2,000 signatures called for the council to keep the hall in the West Lindsey Leisure Centre open, but councillors voted overwhelmingly against it. The local authority wants to press on with plans to turn the venue into a health and well-being facility that will offer a range of services, including weight management, smoking cessation and diabetes control. The council is now working with the Bowls Club to offer alternative provision, including transport to facilities in Scunthorpe. The Lincolnshire Police and Crime Commissioner says spit guards are necessary to protect frontline officers when dealing with suspects. Lincolnshire Police has recently purchased 5,000 guards as a protective measure to help prevent being spat on or bitten. Mark Jones says the medically approved device will enable officers to protect themselves more effectively.
The police have to make very difficult decisions every day and they have to tackle often very angry and violent suspects, and they have a range of equipment that they can use in those circumstances, whether it's handcuffs, the baton, spray or even the taser. So actually, if we're talking about things that are degrading and unacceptable, having somebody spit in your face or trying to bite you, that absolutely is unacceptable. And so providing safety equipment for officers to carry for those exceptional circumstances to be able to protect themselves from people that are spitting at them and biting is absolutely essential.
Students are being urged to sign up as organ donors after Hull and East Yorkshire Hospital's NHS Trust has revealed a record year for organ donations in the area. 35 families gave permission for organs to be used to save a life last year, compared to only 13 in 2016 to 17. As a result, 54 life-saving transplants have been achieved. Staff at Hull Royal Infirmary and Castle Hill Hospital also referred more patients to the organ donation team than other hospitals in the country, achieving a referral rate of 94% compared to a national rate of only 90%. An NHS team will visit the University of Hull tomorrow to encourage students to sign the register and donate blood. A new banner commemorating the Hull triple trawler tragedy is now on display on Hessel Road. The old one was damaged and worn. The new design depicts the 3 trawlers that sank in a matter of weeks 50 years ago in Icelandic waters, the St Romanus, Kingston Peridot and the Ross Cleveland. Ray Coles of the Hull Bullnose Heritage Group explains why the banner is important.
It's to commemorate, the loss of the 3 trawlers and, again, part of the rejuvenation of Hessel Road and just, taking it back to its fishing roots. And that banner up there, what it says to me is, we will not forget them. And this is, one of the reasons why, we're carrying on doing various bits and pieces. It's because we don't want anyone to forget the fishermen. that the banner that was up there had actually, after 10 or 12 years, had faded. It got torn, because, let's be right, no one in this city would take down a Johnny Whiteley banner, without giving it serious thought. But the thing is, it was actually past its sell-by date sort of thing, so that's now been put in storage, and we think it's been replaced with something appropriate for Hesel Road. 6,000 fishermen sailed from that dock and never ever came back, and this was in War and Peace, and the thing is, those men should never ever be forgotten. And one of the things also that they made a big part of this town prosperous, and again, in the job that we did, which I did myself for a number of years, it was pretty tough at times. So these guys doing one of the worst jobs in the world, as it was known, they shouldn't be forgotten.
Hull Camera, the campaign for real ale, celebrates its 40th anniversary this week with the annual Beer and Cider Festival. The event kicks off on Thursday and goes on till Saturday, and it'll feature over 100 real ales and about 30 ciders. It'll be held at Hull Minster for the 7th year. Bernie Court, one of the organisers, explains why the venue was chosen.
When we first came here, it was, shall we say, run down a little bit. And I'd like to think, and I think the church too, is that we've had quite a lot to do with getting people into the church. I mean, the number of times somebody will come into the festival and they say, wow, what a place. And you ask them where they live. Oh, I'm from Hull, never been in here. So it's drawing people in as well, and the church have recognised that. Well, we have a little bit more in the way of choices of beers this year. We were hoping to get some from Scotland, but unfortunately that's fallen through, but we've replaced them with quite a few from down in the Midlands. So we've got, we think, a good choice from around the country. And with the local brewer, Yorkshire Brewing Company, ever since we've been here, they have done what was used to be called the Trinity beer, which is now Minster Ale, which is a special beer that's done just for the festival, and the proceeds all go to the church. And with it being our 40th anniversary, they've also produced a Ruby for 40 years ale for us at the festival. I think it's a bit of a tradition, I think. I say it's our 40th festival, and even when we've had to change the dates and stuff like that, people still appear. So it's obviously one of those things that the people of Hull really enjoy. So yeah, I think that's part of it. I also think that the venue, obviously, it is such a fantastic place and it draws people.
The Hull Ladies Choir is holding a charity concert next month to raise funds for Teenage Cancer Trust. Chris Lake is with me to tell me more. Chris, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Welcome.
Where is this concert taking place and when?
It's taken place in the banqueting hall in the Hull Guildhall on the Thursday the 10th of May at 7:30.
That is an extremely grand venue. You couldn't really have a better room than that.
It's a beautiful place to sing.
And has it got good acoustics?
Yes. Yes.
You'll have to find out on the day.
We have a concert there every year, a charity concert every year there.
How can people get tickets?
Well, they can go to Barker's of Hallgate, Cottingham. They can go to Gough and Davy at Paragon Street, Hull, or they can go to the choir website and get all the information from there.
Okay, so that's www.hullladieschoir?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're expecting a sellout concert, I hope?
I hope so.
Now, it's the charity that you're collecting for is very important, Teenage Cancer Trust. What work does that do?
Well, it supports children, teenagers with cancer, and they have a very good unit at Castle Hill. I've actually been around there, and I was with a nursing background. I was very impressed with what I saw, and it supports the children in the whole region, so it actually directly affects raising funds for Teenage Cancer Trust. Will hopefully will directly affect that unit as well. And
it treats people from a very wide area all round the Humber, isn't it?
It does.
It's not just the North Bank or not just the Yorkshire catchment area.
Yeah.
Okay, well, an excellent cause. How much are you hoping to gather, to collect?
We haven't got a figure in mind. We'll just be grateful for anything, and we'd be really pleased if people could come along and support us, because it is really a worthwhile charity.
What's on the programme?
We're singing some...
Don't have to tell me everything, but give me a few highlights of what to expect.
Hail Holy Queen is from Sister Act. I Don't Know How to Love Him.
That sounds like-
Hallelujah, which is the theme tune for Shrek,
Yep.
but I understand it's much older than that.
Well, it's Leonard Cohen, isn't it? I think. Hallelujah.
think-
That one.
I think it is, yes. The Rose, which was sung by Bette Midler. So we've got a great variety. Bally High, Fields of Gold.
Lots of popular and familiar
One
stuff.
Voice, Barry Manilow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got a guest choir as well.
We have. It's the Scunthorpe Cooperative Junior Choir, and the reason we asked them to come was because they have teenagers in the choir, and it's for a teenage charity that we're doing it, and we thought that was very appropriate.
And they are good, talented, wonderful sound?
I've not heard them myself actually, but they've actually done quite a lot, haven't they? They've been, won awards and things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Just remind me again, date and venue?
It's Thursday the 10th of May at the Guildhall in Hull.
And
7:30.
very little chance of tickets on the door, so probably book in advance.
They could try the door. You can usually find 1 or 2 seats.
Chris, I'm sure it'll make an absolutely wonderful noise. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
Join me after the break. Jack will bring us a roundup of the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Heather Davies about KDAR's 4th anniversary. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Heather Davies about KDAR's 4th anniversary. The first in a series of neighbourhood awareness events took place in Barton today. Run by the housing provider Ongo, the caretaking and customer engagement teams were in the town to deliver a series of activities to encourage residents to take pride in their communities. One of the main aims of the event is to raise awareness of recycling. Some areas will see litter picks, estate inspections and general clean-ups. The next event takes place at the community centre in South Killinghome on Friday from 11:30 in the morning, and a further event takes place in Scunthorpe on the 26th of April. And more than 50 bags of rubbish were collected by 90 volunteers from the South Holderness District Scouts and Yorkshire Wildlife on Saturday. Organised by ABP Hull, items included wheelie bins, bikes, palm oil and discarded lobster pots. The clean-up coincided with the national Big Spring Beach Clean campaign, which runs until Sunday. There are over 5,000 items of litter on every mile of the UK's coast, and to try and demonstrate how far litter can travel, a competition on the day was held to identify the piece of litter which may have travelled the furthest. The winning item was from Turkey. ABP will be holding similar events every other month. A North Lincolnshire woman is going bananas after the success of her idea to get children eating fresh fruit. Maria Thompson, who's a customer assistant at Tesco in Brigg, came up with the initiative for parents to give their children fruit to eat as an alternative to sweets during shopping trips. The idea was taken up by the shop nearly 2 years ago, with more than 50 million pieces of fruit being handed out since then. Tesco decided to roll out the idea nationally, with 800 stores taking part. The supermarket says bananas are the preferred snack, with over 21 million being snapped up by kids. 19 million apples have been eaten and 10 million oranges. The American R&B group Shalimar are coming to Hull next month to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the release of their album Friends. Original members Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Daniel returned to the stage along with Caroline Griffey singing their greatest hits. The group sold over 25 million records worldwide and collected 100 gold, silver and platinum awards. They're at Hull City Hall on the 3rd of May, and will no doubt that will be a night to remember. KDAR is a local charity supporting young children and their families with chronic kidney disease. They're about to celebrate their 4th anniversary, and I'm joined now by Heather Davies to tell me more. Heather, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
4 years, that's quite an achievement. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
Why is it, how did the charity come to be formed in the first place?
It was fun because there was a lack of support for families in general with children with chronic kidney disease. After our birth of our daughter, we discovered that there was no support out there. It took a long time for me to get my head around all the ins and outs, so we jumped online and founded KDARs.
And how many, I don't know if members is the right word, but how many people are you sharing this experience with and supporting now?
968.
And that's not just in this area, is it?
It's not, no, this is right across the globe. So we are supporting families in USA, India, Australia, pretty much international now.
It's global. What do you do? How do you help? How can you provide support?
We support the families with advice and donations. We found that ourselves as a family, financial times can be a real issue with parking fees and fines. It all comes in. Food when a children in hospital. So what we do is we donate it to the families that need the money at the time. So we also raise funds.
It's a bit sad that having a disease is actually a financial cost to the families of the children who are suffering this.
It's difficult enough dealing with the actual illness, but then when the financial implications come into play as well, the last thing families need to be worried about is where the next pennies are coming from to get the children to hospital appointments and dialysis. It all comes into play, so that's what we've been doing.
Having a child with a kidney condition, I suspect, takes over your life completely, does it?
We try not to let it, but it does. It certainly throws the spanner in the works, as people would say. But it's also a privilege, you know, to have these children in our lives. We've learned so much, and we take so much from them.
When you think of kidney conditions, I'm afraid I'm not very medical, and I'm certainly very unimaginative. I think of the chore and the distress necessary from dialysis. Is that the worst aspect of it? Is it always that you're thinking about?
Mainly, yeah, but also the fact that transplants don't necessarily last. We can have a kidney transplant one day and it can fail within hours, and then it's back to dialysis and searching for another kidney, and that's the hardest part of this journey for me as a mum, watching my little girl go through this. It's difficult, not knowing what's coming next, what to expect in all this.
How is she, by the way? Apart from the kidney condition, is she all right?
She had a poorly spell recently where she was sick and that knocked her back. But other than that, she's plodding on.
Good, okay. Well, that's a very philosophical approach to take. If people want to know more about KDAR, what does KDAR stand for, by the way?
KDAR stands for Kidney Disease and Renal Support.
Right, okay. If people want to be involved in that, either if they want to help by maybe donating or volunteering, or if they want to get a little bit of help from KDAR, how should they contact you?
They can contact us on our Facebook group, which is KDARs for Kids, and they can find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. And they can search on the Google, on Google as well. So
you'll come up there. KDAR, yeah. all capital letters. 4 years, clearly going strong. Yes, I know, you look surprised. Why would you be surprised? Of course it's going to be a success, an organisation like this. How will you be celebrating?
Well, the idea is actually we're going to try and get a balloon with our logo on Facebook. So it's not going to be a visual balloon. It's not going to be one that we're going to release. We're going to put it on Facebook and hopefully get it to go global.
What, a real balloon going all the way around?
No. Just, like a picture of a balloon with KDAR's logo on, and then try and get it to go viral on Facebook. OK,
I think you'll be getting a lot more members. Heather, thank you very much for coming in, and well done on the 4 years. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Here's Jack with all the sports news.
Hull City are back in Championship action tonight as they travel to face bottom side Burton Albion. The Tigers approach the game high in confidence on the back of their 4-0 hammering of QPR at the weekend. Tonight marks a first return to his old club for Jackson Irvine, who joined City from Burton last summer. The Australian midfielder spent a successful 13 months at the Brewers, scoring 11 goals in 49 appearances for the Staffordshire club. In terms of team news, winger Kamil Grosicki could start tonight after scoring against QPR, while Evandro and Moses Odabajo remain out injured. Kick-off tonight at the Pirelli Stadium is at 7:45, and I'll bring you full details of the game in tomorrow's sport. Meanwhile, Scunthorpe United interim manager Nick Dawes has been speaking about the club's current predicament. The Iron are without a win in 11 games, a run of form which has seen them drop to 9th and out of the League One playoff places. On Saturday, striker Lee Novak came off the bench to score a late equaliser as United drew 1-1 for the third match running. Scunthorpe have drawn 7 of their last 9 games and they haven't picked up a clean sheet since the New Year's Day win over Bury. However, Graham Alexander's interim successor Dawes has confidence that his side can display the form they showed earlier on in the season.
If memory serves me right, we did pretty well in that time to get in there and stay in there. Hopefully we will do that sooner rather than later. But if we were, in a different position and needed to win our final 4 games to get in the playoffs, then that's what we would do. We would try and win our final 4 games, and that's all we will do between now and the end of the season. Try and win every single game.
In Rugby League, Hull Kingston Rovers are paying tribute to a club hero in a special event tonight. The club's community trust is hosting a Roger Millwood Memories event this evening. It will be a celebration of the career of the Robins legend, who scored 207 tries in 406 appearances for Rovers between 1966 and 1980. Nicknamed Roger the Dodger, Millwood won 11 trophies in his time as both a player and a coach at Craven Park. But perhaps his crowning glory was when, as player coach, he guided KDAR to a 10-5 Challenge Cup victory over deadly rivals Hull FC at Wembley. Tonight's event starts at 6 o'clock and takes place in the Legends Lounge. That's all for today's sport. Back to Hugh in the studio.
Thank you very much, Jack. That's all for the sports, and that's all for tonight, I'm afraid. If you've a news story for us or any other reason to contact us, then Facebook and Twitter are displayed below me, or email news@estuary.tv, or phone Grimsby 01472 3155553, or write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. From all of us for now, good evening.